Today we're going to be looking at a very specific example based on the Scaled Agile Framework that's going to help a lot of Scrum Masters understand why this is a critical framework to look into. I have a scenario here which was sent in to me by one of my avid viewers of my channel, and it goes, what should the Scrum Master do in this instance? And the scenario here is that they have a tight deadline imposed on them for about 3 months. This is a common scenario you see in many projects that you will encounter in a professional corporate working environment. The stakeholders will impose a very tight deadline. This is a common thing. And what you need to do as a project manager, as a Scrum Master or a program manager, or even a product manager, is try to figure out a way that you can meet that deadline, right? So you've got 3 months here. That's it. Nothing more. Large project. It's a large project and we've got 10 requirements. Now, 10 requirements is, I would consider, a small project, but just for the basis of this scenario that we're going to do, we're going to be looking at it as 10 requirements. And also, so we want to take a note of that. And we've got multiple agile teams. Now, this is a good thing. Because we have multiple agile teams at our disposal here, we can use them and not abuse them, but use them and use them to our advantage, and how we can deliver this a little bit more quickly. So we've got multiple agile teams, something to take note of. But here's the tricky thing. We also have multiple stakeholders, and as I was told in the question, we have about 8 stakeholders in this project. So think about it. It's not one dude that's giving you a lot of headache. It's going to be multiple dudes giving you multiple pieces of headache, okay? So you need to think of a way of how to do this. Now, the common thing is that most of you would say this to me. So that's the example there, is that let's just take the standard Scrum methodology, right? So let's just apply Scrum here. And as you know, Scrum would allow you to take a product owner, a Scrum Master, and an Agile team. Well, not an Agile team, a development team, if we're looking at it the standard way, development team, into a couple of meetings, and the meetings are 4 of them. You have sprint planning, daily stand-ups, which are happening every day, a sprint review, and a sprint retrospective. And what you're expected to do with this one team is to gain alignment and deliver the project. So here you're coming up with the goals, and here you're doing a review if it's good or bad, and then here you're also doing if the team can get any better as continuous improvement. And this is where you're checking if you're aligning or you can't deliver the project, right? So this is what's going on here for one team. Let's just assume that we take this model and we expand it out. We expand it out to multiple teams. Let's just say we have 5 teams here, and each of the teams are doing the sprinting, the Scrum life cycle. And each one of them has got a Scrum Master in there, imposed, well, not imposed, within there. Do you think it is highly feasible that these teams can actually deliver the work? Where is the alignment? So just show me, where's the alignment here? Each and every team they're working in their own cadence. This team might be working in another cadence, this might team another cadence, another deadline, another. So none of these teams are aligned. It's impossible to align these teams because there's no rhythm here. There's no heartbeat. They're working to their own rhythm, their own deadlines. So number one problem, we cannot use the traditional Scrum methodology to deliver this project. However, we can use the tools and the mechanics that this methodology gives you out of the box naturally, but we need to place a structure around it. And this is going to get to the heart of this question now. So, as we said earlier on today, that we have 10 requirements. So we've got 10 requirements. Let's just loosely call them 10 features, just for the sake of speeding things up, speeding this video up. We have 10 features, and let's say we have one team, we have a second team, a third team, a fourth team, and a fifth team. Each one of these are teams. What if we could distribute each of these features to these teams. So this team gets 2, this team gets 2, this team gets 2, this team gets 2 features, and this team. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So each team now has got 2 features, and they'll be working in a coordinated way. So if this is a timeline, and remember what the timeline was. We said 3 months is the timeline, is the deadline. So we need to ensure each one of these teams can deliver this on time. That's okay. Now we've got a structure. We can see something that's going to happen now. We have also can put in alignment. Because if we don't have alignment across these teams, when you start to receive risks, dependencies, we can start to use this structure to align these teams. And this is one of the critical things that we're trying to get here, is alignment. So we need to handle the risks, we need to handle the dependencies, but we need some sort of structure in this place. And what this structure is called is an Agile Release Train. Scaled Agile Framework, guys. If you want to learn more about this Scaled Agile Framework or attend the trainings that I'm running every week. So the Agile Release Train, in this case, will give you a phenomenal structure for you to deliver. Because remember, guys, it's a large project. And you also have multiple stakeholders here, and you have a tight deadline. So 5 teams, 10 requirements, multiple risks, multiple dependencies. We need to mitigate this as much as possible. So the structure that we're going to go for is an Agile Release Train, and this is detailed in the Scaled Agile Framework. Attend the Safe Scrum Master training if you want to learn more about this. Perfect for those of you who want to become Scrum Masters. So let's just look at this a little bit more in detail. This Agile Release Train is composed of a couple of key individuals here. You have a person which is called a product manager, who is you could say the chief product owner, the chief maestro for the business for running this product. You have someone that's called a RTE, or someone that's, you could say, the chief Scrum Master, the chief team coach, whatever you'd like to call it, and also a system architect. These people look after the Agile Release Train. So they're in charge of making sure that this thing is running smoothly and it runs on time, like a train. It should hit the station every point. And with their coordinated effort, they ensure that these 5 teams are executing. This team is executing, this team is executing, this team needs some help, we can help that team, and this team's executing. But they're doing it in a aligned fashion, in a systematic fashion. So we're going to use the Agile Release Train mechanism. We're going to use the Scrum methodology to release the value. And we'll be doing this in a synchronized way, in a methodical way. So we have 3 months. So let's just put a timeline in here, right? 3 months. The 0th day, 1 month has passed, 2 months has passed, and this is the final day. Obviously, we have sprints running. Sprint is roughly about 2 weeks. So within the first month, we've got about 1 sprint here, 1 sprint, 2 sprints here. That's, well, the second sprint. And this will be the 3rd sprint. This will be the 4th sprint here. Then you can have a 5th one here. Okay? 1st sprint. I know there's a month there, but let's say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's a 5th sprint. And we also have 5 teams. 1 team, 2 teams, 3. So yeah, let's just remove the numbers. Let's just assume these are teams here. Team and team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 teams. Each team has to plan its own work, has to coordinate its work, and has to deliver according to this timeline. So each team has its own strand that they have to deliver upon. And they have to hit these markers. Now you see what's happening here? Now look at this. You're starting to see a structure now. You're starting to see a methodology that you can start to apply. So let's say team number one has taken a feature, and that feature they are predicting that they can deliver it by the third sprint. Let's change the color. Let's make this a little bit more easier so you can understand what's going on here. Okay, let's go for red. They're saying that they're going to deliver a feature in that third sprint. Excellent. Let's go to team number two, that they're going to deliver this by the fourth sprint. Excellent. The third team, they're going to deliver something by the second sprint. The fourth team, they'll deliver something by, let's say, the first sprint, because we have nothing getting delivered here. And this team will deliver at the same time. Excellent, good. So now we can see here, there's a bit of a Gantt chart. We can see a timeline. And if we had stakeholders, we could say to the stakeholders, look, we have planned out with these teams and how we're going to deliver the stuff. I'm going to get to the planning soon, but just follow along with me. That we're going to use this, we're going to use these teams, we're going to use this rhythmic heartbeat here. We've got 1 sprint, 2 sprint, 3, 4, 5, I'm going to deliver it accordingly. But another thing that we can do here. Remember I said that there could be a situation whereby there is dependencies, risks that could come up. In order for some teams to deliver, there might be a dependency. So let's say in order for this team to deliver, there's a dependency on this team to deliver first. There. Now we can map it. So in order for team number 3 to deliver this successfully, this team has to deliver first successfully. And in order for this team to deliver successfully in the third sprint, this team has to deliver successfully. So there is a dependency, and these teams are in parallel. And it could be the case that both of these teams, there's a natural dependency. And check this out. In order for this feature to get delivered, you need the outputs of all of them. For that to get delivered. Look how powerful the mapping is. Look how powerful the mapping is right now. Now you know exactly how you want to correlate this. Show me in which other framework that you have this. You do not have this in Professional Scrum Master. You do not have this in Certified Scrum Master. You only have this in the Scaled Agile Framework. That's it. This is the only place where this exists. This is super, super powerful. And let me show you another thing that's quite cool. Let's say, for instance, the stakeholders have told you that we need to have a review. There needs to be a milestone. You could position a milestone here. That could be milestone number 1, which is getting these 2 features delivered. And let's say we need to have another milestone here. Getting another. This could be the verification validation stages, whatever that is. So I know I said 10 requirements, and I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 requirements here, but I'm just trying to show you that this is how easy this is to start to do it. So there could be other features here. Of course, there could be a feature here, feature here, feature here, feature here, couple of here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 10 there, and you can map this out. So cool. We have a timeline, we also have teams, we have dependencies, and we can also map the risks in there as well. Question, how do we plan this? How do we plan this? I've not spoken about planning. I've just simply told you that there's a structure here. We need to have a methodology. We need to be able to plan all of this out. So in the SAFe framework, let me write that again. In the SAFe framework, there is a wonderful concept called PI planning. PI planning. And PI planning is a workshop, a 2-day workshop that brings in everyone and they plan together. So think about the question that we said. How many stakeholders did we say that we had? 8 stakeholders. How many features and requirements did we have? 10. How many teams did we have? 5 teams. 5 features and 8 stakeholders. We need to collaborate with all these people. We need to align with these people. We need to be able to communicate with these people. We need to come out with a plan of attack for the next 3 months so everyone is aligned. The only way this is possible is through PI planning. And PI planning is a 2-day workshop that happens. And all these individuals are attending. So within the 5 agile teams here, there's going to be Scrum Masters and there's going to be product owners and there's also going to be engineers or whoever it's going to be. But the beautiful thing is that the PI planning encapsulates the art structure. It encapsulates the art structure. So now we have a wonderful mechanism and we've got a wonderful structure that we can deliver things by. So let me show you how this works. This is the how. You want to know the how. How does this work? So let's put in our timeline. Let's call this the PI. Okay, this thing all the way through is called a PI. Now a PI basically stands for program increment. And a program increment is roughly about 8 to 12 weeks. Three months, loosely speaking, 3 months. So on the first day, we have something called PI planning. PI planning. And during PI planning, all the teams, the 5 teams, and all the stakeholders get together and they plan. It's a 2-day workshop. If you want to learn exactly how this is done, attend the Safe Scrum Master course. If you want to attend that, my contact details are on the screen. Contact me and we can book you into any of our upcoming training sessions. So PI planning is a 2-day workshop. And what we do here, we plan. But there's a technique to the planning. There's a strategic way of doing this, which you'll learn in the Safe Scrum Master course. And once when you have done the planning, you come up with goals. And these goals are called PI objectives, which the stakeholders absolutely love. So you have PI objectives and the teams start sprinting. They start executing the work. Sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4, and then sprint 5. Okay? And during these sprints, something is getting delivered. All the teams are delivering items throughout. And then towards the end, we have something called an inspect and adapt workshop, which is the ultimate workshop to see how well the teams have performed, how well they have delivered. And this is the full methodology here. This is the full framework here that you can see here. PI planning is the first thing, which allows you to decide on what the PI objectives are. The teams, the 5 teams, start sprinting and they start delivering the work here. And then towards the end, just shorten this, sprint 5, where the inspect and the adapt workshop is happening. They're checking to see how well we have done. But also there is points of delivery here that can happen. So if you want to release value to the customer, you and the stakeholder, you can absolutely do that earlier on in the chain. So let's just go back to the question. You had 10 requirements. These 10 requirements, we're going to call them loosely 10 features. These 10 features we're going to distribute 2 or maybe 3 amongst every of the 5 Agile teams that we've got. Those 5 Agile teams are going to work in an Agile Release Train structure with a product manager, a release train engineer, and a system architect. And as they're working in there, those individuals will be coordinating all these 5 teams. These 5 teams will be working on their 2 features. And as they're working on the 2 features, they'll be collaborating and trying to deliver it. But there's another powerful thing that this structure gives you. Every week, there's going to be something called a SOS, a Scrum of Scrums, or you could call this an art sync. An art sync meeting is whereby all the Scrum Masters and the team coaches, the release train engineer, all get together and they are synchronizing to see where the problems are, where the issues are, and how they can maybe remove some of the dependencies and risks. That's happening in the art sync. Then you also have another one, so the art sync, and you also have one for the product owners and the product managers. Another synchronization meeting where they'll be discussing progress and they'll be discussing any scope, creep, or anything like any items like that. Okay, that is the complete timeline, and believe it or not, it's a large project, covered. 10 requirements, covered. 5 teams and how to coordinate them, covered. 8 stakeholders, we have not covered. In the PI planning, in the 2-day workshop, there is a critical piece on the first day, which is about business context setting. In this business context setting, it's about first 2 hours into the day, all the business stakeholders actually give presentations. They actually give what we need to achieve in this upcoming PI. So the stakeholders are actually in the session where the planning is taking place for the next PI. So imagine all the Agile teams together with the stakeholders planning together. And I believe that was one of the Agile principles from the Agile Manifesto, Agile values, which is customers and teams, development teams working together, software engineers working together. You're seeing this practically play out. So Scaled Agile Framework is 100% agility at its core. The power of this is that it harnesses the power of Scrum, it harnesses the power of the manifesto and the values, but it has built a structure which a large organization needs. And this structure is what's going to deliver you that thing. So if we go right to the beginning, ten features. As you can see, we've covered a considerable amount of stuff here. A lot of stuff. Some more. Give me 2 seconds. This is well worth it. Tight deadline, 3 months. Fits into the PI. Large project, 10 requirements, 10 features. We covered that. Multiple Agile teams, we've shown you exactly how to coordinate them. Multiple stakeholders, PI planning. So what should the Scrum Master do in delivering this project and this program? We should apply the Scaled Agile Framework to get the output and the outcome done. In order to learn more about this, attend the Safe Scrum Master training and you'll learn exactly how to do this step by step. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below. Write what you'd like to see next as a proper example. Share the video with someone that needs to know how they can do this in real life in a corporate setting. Subscribe to the channel. Feel free to message me on WhatsApp. Please attend my Scaled Agile trainings and check out some of my social media links. Check out the Scrum Master playlist. You'll learn a lot of good stuff there. And thank you for watching.